Hello everybody and welcome to episode 16 of our Lamborghini Aventador replica build series. Today the plan is to drive the car out of the garage. Don't mind the fact that it's currently lacking a motor and wheels. We are fully committed to making it happen.
We'll be alright. It takes no more than an hour to completely assemble or tear it down.
Well, assuming the parts are there in the first place, but there is a bunch of stuff that's missing, and making all of it is a matter of weeks, dude. For example, the fuel tank is still at the aluminum sheet stage.
We just need to crumple them into the right shape somehow.
Now we need to install the engine and suspension, sort the wiring, fuel tank, radiator, and so on. We are super keen, and I'm confident that we can make this work. Let's rock. So in this episode, we've decided to listen to what a bunch of the viewers have been saying, as in work more, talk less. What you just saw was 4 days of work on the Lambo. You have anything to say?
Not really. As usual, we've run into a few new problems and we've made a bit of progress. We now have a place for the driver to sit, the actual seat is in there, you can shift gears, all of the pedals are in place. It feels like you're sitting in a real car.
So what I'm holding is the tool set that Yegor calls a balancing machine, right?
We used these precision tools to balance the axle shaft, which rotates perfectly now. My plan was to mend it slightly and then finalize everything on a lathe.
But now Yegor is rolling that shaft back and forth in total disbelief. Like, this is unreal. So if any one of you guys needs something mended, you've got technological progress, but this is technological regress.
We've gone back to the Stone Age.
Just so we're clear, these are the axle shafts that are gonna connect the engine to the wheels. With that, we'll pretty much have the rear end completely covered, leaving just the fuel tank, wiring, and radiators to tend to. And then we begin testing. Though unfortunately, in some places we weren't as lucky as with the axle shaft. Allow me to show you something. Now after Yegor began to work on the floor, we test fitted the seat. We actually had to spend $300 on a set of so-called bucket seats, which turned out to be not so much.
They're more sports seats with a reclining backrest. They'd be pretty good for blackjack.
Yeah, you're right, these would have been perfect for blackjack. This is just what you need for a modified Latum, and they're the right price on top of that. We recently found out that bucket seats are ridiculously expensive.
I think a genuine Sparco racing seat goes for like $1,400?
You know, I've seen a bunch of ads where people were selling used racing seats for no less than $400, and those weren't even from a well-known brand. Plus, something might have been missing, like a seat belt, a seat rail, or some other minute thing. I'd say these seats for $300 are an absolute win, though admittedly this wasn't a long-lived win. After fitting this one and sitting down for the first time, well, my head is up against this beam, and I mean firmly up against it, as in you're not gonna drive around like this. In the meantime, we've decided to assemble the car as is, without rushing anything. We'll think of something, but for now this seems to be the only reasonable option for us. Wouldn't want to have to drive the Lambo wearing a helmet all the time. You know, even in this sort of position, I feel more comfortable than in an actual Lamborghini. You do remember how we sat down in that real Lambo, right? First of all, you're sitting way closer to the steering wheel, so the wheel is closer, plus your knees are at a sharper angle, and the seat is much lower down. Not what I'd call a comfortable seating position. I'd say we have a much better layout. Overall, I'm very pleased to be sitting inside the car, turning the steering wheel. We've still got the Nissan's adjustment capabilities for the steering column, so you can move it around however you want. There's not that much left to do. We just have to make it out of the garage and have some fun in this thing.
I keep hearing people say that the engine isn't gonna be that easy to fire up now.
Really? Why so?
With the wiring and everything else being laid out like it is. There is a microchip in the ignition key and that might cause us some trouble.
We also need to sort the brakes, but I take it that's the simplest of all the tasks that are at hand.
We need to hook up the brake brakes that came with the Nissan. We were able to find the brake calipers in all of this trash, which we need to test fit, connect to each other. We could even bypass the brake booster.
We can look into some new rotors later.
At the moment, we're running 19-inch rims, and just imagine what those tiny rotors are going to look like.
So we'll tend to that later, but for now we simply need to make this Lambo capable of moving on its own and rolling out from the garage.
So we head out and try to break something on those terrible local roads.
Seems like your goal is to break the car and call it a day, huh? We're almost done with the wiring and we're about to start the engine for the first time. Hopefully it's able to after sitting in the corner for 6 months.
We also need to pour in some fresh oil. Ilya has actually brought some over. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen this stuff before.
Well, I saw a TV commercial after which I read the reviews online and people are saying that this is some good quality oil. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments, just in case, whether you've tried this stuff and what you think of it if you have. This is the first time we'll be using it. I was supposed to get 5W40, right?
Yep, Ilya is always bringing over something new that I have never come across in my practice.
The plan is to try using this oil. So we'll give it a chance. The results will become clear very soon. Sounds dangerous. I am so fucking tired of this. It's been days and the engine has yet to start, which is annoying.
Super convenient. Anti-stress steering wheel.
Right, so it has been a month since we recorded that last sequence. We've been working on the Lambo for an entire month, pretty much every day, and now it's ready for its first drive. In that time, the car has received a floor, some seats, brakes, wiring, a battery, fuel tank, radiator. I guess you can say that we built a car in that time frame.
And this is the first time it's seeing the light.
Problem is the car won't start. How long have we been trying to, like for 5 days?
The starter motor is acting up, so we're going to have to push start it.
If it even starts.
And we'll see how this thing turned out.
Well, at the very least, it's outside the garage, which deserves a few likes, I think.
This feels very weird. Oh, come on already!
Yeah, let's start it. Hopefully it starts. Oh my god, is it low? This is dangerous. Maybe I should help you guys push it? Yeah! Yes! Yes! It's running! Give me 5! I was in it for a few seconds, but that was enough to feel how quick the car is. And low. It is a proper handful. And just one wheel is braking. This one. Well, that one is barely working, while this one can lock up on you easily. Are you trying to do a burnout or something? Let me have a go. The gas pedal is getting stuck. It's literally staying down there.
Yeah, we'll need to add a return spring. It feels like driving a normal car.
Overall, I'd say you're right. The visibility's fantastic. So much space. The brakes pretty much don't exist, as in you keep moving even after stepping on the brake pedal.
Just push it harder, we don't have a brake booster.
Oh, right, I see.
The wheels stop rotating, but because of the lack of mass up front, the car continues to move forward.
Okay, let's try this out. It accelerates like a go-kart. Are we overheating?
I don't know, we don't seem to be.
We're not running temperature sensors or any of that. Even after I hit the gas just that one time, the car with how low it is feels like a go-kart. It is super stiff and it feels very unruly. Whoever said this motor is weak and inadequate,
The tires just can't find grip. Pressing the gas pedal, that just creates a ton of wheel spin.
let's fire it back up, add some water, and keep on driving.
Coolant from the heavens.
Yeah, this episode is sponsored by some coolant from the heavens. If everything goes well, we'll of course pour in some good coolant next time. For now, even buying a cheap bottle for the sake of testing, I mean, why bother? How much do you need to fill the cooling system?
We'll be draining it anyway once we get back to work.
When we relocate everything to someplace else. I am beyond happy with this.
Turns out that was coming from the exhaust pipe.
So we didn't even need to top it off?
Well, better safe than sorry.
Did you notice that the engine was misfiring?
I did. Not all of the cylinders were firing.
Oh man, this Lambo is this is the second time we're pushing it. Will that do? Should we start it? Roman is in the garage and without him this is hard. You think I'm having an easy time with this?
Let me do a donut.
Yeah, go ahead. Look at him go. That looked tremendous. Good thing we wrapped the new seats and the steering wheel. They would have gotten dirty. Oh, this is exhausting. Oh, Roman has joined the party. That's much better. Man, as soon as he realized that there's pushing involved, Roman promptly disappeared. Thank you. Hit it, dude, don't let it stall. You know, the gas pedal getting stuck might even be a benefit. It's working, nothing is broken so far.
Purrs like a kitten.
Aside from that misfire, it's quite a rough purr.
It makes peak power sometimes, but like I said, the grip just isn't there. The car's just that light.
It's very low compared to other cars. I came over here in a Toyota, and now sitting in this, it's like you're in something supernatural, not so much a car. It is very low.
I'd like to point out that us discussing inconveniences pertaining to the clutch, well, I'm not noticing anything.
Well, yeah, as soon as you get into the car,
I don't feel like anything is getting in the way.
your head's not touching the bar, which is something we were concerned about.
It's okay to drive.
Careful for that big pothole. Our camera guy's just sitting there out in the open. Oh, wow, is that low. You know, we do seem to have enough ground clearance.
At least we're not hitting anything.
It feels very good. As for those makeshift extended axle shafts,
We haven't broken anything yet. By the way, I forgot to tell you that I didn't weld up the suspension in a couple of spots. So assuming it stays intact and we finish the welding, that'll be somewhat overbuilt.
next episode I think we should go to a racetrack after modifying a few things here and there.
Yeah, hook up a few sensors as not to kill the motor and go have some fun.
Will they even let us onto the track in this thing? Or are they gonna show us the exit?
We'll just say it's a go-kart.
Yeah, big ass one. I find the small steering wheel pretty convenient.
What do you think about the exhaust?
We don't even need to make an exhaust. We can just have a big pipe sticking out.
Let me check the temperature.
While I hold the steering wheel. Do you want to maybe trade places?
We can do that on the move.
I don't think so, dude.
Oh, come on, let's try.
Are you serious? We got a camera guy who isn't strapped in. You know what? The car does have a sunroof. Well, are you gonna let me have a go? What are you doing?
Tak.
There we are, now I'm the one driving. Remember what it was like to drive the limo for the first time? This is a completely different experience. Everybody seems to be so joyous, and we've reached a good road. Send it! It steps out as soon as you hit the gas. Let's throw it into second.
Careful, don't hurl me off.
We need Roman. Let's go visit him at his garage. He's nowhere to be seen.
Meanwhile, I can go check the hoses and the water temperature.
Yeah, please go check and see what's going on in the engine room.
It's alright, the engine is like 40 degrees Celsius.
I love that we're driving around in the Lambo. Roman! Roman! Hop on, we've got room for you. Okay, we've stalled, so you can help us push the car. Let's let him drive and yell. She's all yours, Roman. Whoa, dude, take it easy. Take it easy, we have no brakes.
Where are the brakes?
They don't work. Third gear and give it some gas.
Where are the brakes?
Neutral gas brakes.
I want to get off.
Seriously, dude, slow down. And give it some gas so it doesn't stall. There are 3 people in the Lambo and the suspension seems to work just fine, which is something I was pretty concerned about.
But the steering wheel is wobbling. I might have screwed up some of the adjustments.
We might want to go in for a proper alignment. This car is a beast.
Overall, I am very satisfied. And nothing has fallen off yet, even though I was going for it back there, doing donuts over some big potholes.
There's someone in a Peugeot driving right behind us. Show him what this can do, while I hold the camera guy. Don't worry, I've got him. Dude, this is genuinely one of the happiest days of my life. This is unbelievably good fun.
I thought the day would never come.
How long have we been at it? March, April?
6 months, I think.
June, July, August, September, October, 8 months.
So even more.
We've been working towards this moment for 8 months.
And 4 of those just making mistakes. 4 months of mistakes. Yeah, it didn't take too long.
I love it. And it sounds fantastic.
Well, yeah, there was good reason to get a naturally aspirated 3-liter V6.
Which is half the horsepower of a true Lambo. I meant to say half the cylinders.
If this were an inline 4, it'd be all making noise. But this has a nice burble to it, and it's not terribly loud. All we're running is the collector pipe, no muffler, no nothing.
The fact that the engine is behind you and you have nothing up front, it's a pretty weird feeling.
The visibility is great though. You can see a manhole cover when it's right beneath you.
I was worried that the rear weight bias would be too extreme, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It wasn't squatting even when we gave it some. It feels planted.
Careful so your leg doesn't wrap around the tire.
Oh, this is fantastic. I'm really at a loss for words. Everything worked out perfectly.
Too much so even.
Though we can't start it using a key yet, but that's nothing.
Look at the suspension articulation. Look at it squirming on even the small bumps. Or how do I even describe it? Now we're going over some bumps, and here we have a manhole cover.
Well, we were this close to hitting it. You realize the bumper is going to be much lower, right?
And the car might be sitting lower.
In buggy form, it has plenty of clearance, but as a car, I don't think it will once we install the panels. I think we should go to the track with no plastic. I mean, we'd definitely smash it.
Second, the gearbox works great.
I agree. Plus, we fitted this neat-looking shift knob. It has a nice feel to it. Can you press the clutch? There we are. That is so nice. And the clutch works well.
There's literally no weirdness to it. It does get tight near the very end, but the moment it disengages the clutch, everything is fine.
It's stiff because we had to shorten the pedal considerably. Then you have that.
The Link is also able to take some load upon itself.
The first shakedown wasn't even a disaster.
Oh, not in the slightest.
We knocked this out of the park. Where do we end this episode?
It didn't even take a year.
This is fantastic. You do realize that you put it together with your own 2 hands and with minimum assistance. Well, okay, maybe there was like a few % of input from other people.
The thing with this is that we put it together in a garage on some logs without using a jig, out of shit and bricks. All it took was some grinding and welding to get there.
And it still turned out good from an engineering perspective. Everything has been thought through.
It's pretty amazing how well the suspension works without any adjustment.
Considering we have a ton of adjustability, we can get it to work even better. We'll invite over some dude who really knows how these things need to be done. We'll get it onto a stand, or maybe you're that dude?
That appears to be the case.
I see. This is awesome. You know, when I'm driving it, I am overwhelmed with joy.
I'm a bit nervous on account of not knowing the oil pressure or coolant temperature. That can easily end with the engine going bang. But once we get all of that sorted, I'd really enjoy tearing it up on a track.
We should do that in the next episode, I think. I think now might be the right time to show us a bit of love. So go ahead and hit that like button, write some comments, tell us what you think about all of this. Not all of the people who are watching are asking where's the Lambo. The thing is that we're working on it every single day. It's right here. I guess my appeal is to those who watch and enjoy the series without commenting. But then again, those who do comment can also feel free to continue doing so.
Feels good, huh?
Can you hear that I've lost my voice?
We lived to see the day.
This has been a very successful day indeed. 10 out of 10. We've been filming this episode for over a month now. We did promise that we'd drive before it ends, and we have.
We were like, yeah, we'll be out in 3 days. We're almost there. It's gonna happen soon.
Well, that'll be all for this one. Big thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you enjoyed watching this episode. Next time, the Lambo's gonna be even better. Soon we'll work on the Lambo doors, the mirrors, glass, headlights, but you'll see that a bit later. For now, that'll be all. Subscribe as not to miss what's happening next, and goodbye.